Welcome back to podcast number 8. I covered a lot on podcast 7. I think I covered a lot, and I just want to dive in deeper into just one aspect, and I want you to walk through the process. So, what did I cover in podcast 7? I covered about limiting belief. I covered about living life on purpose, loving yourself unconditionally, and being resourceful. That's a lot. And you know what? I will tell you the most impacting thing that I changed was my limiting belief. And I talked about Tony Robbins and Dickens Process and all that thing. It was a big problem. But let me tell you what it cost me. It costed me a lot. It costed me my inner peace, my inner joy. I just couldn't be peace with me. I compensated that with my controlling behavior, whether it was more pronounced with my wife, with my kids, and somewhere else, but it was more pronounced and it cost me the intimate relationship with my wife, my emotional bonding with my both loving kids. I was a great provider. I provided them. I sent them to good schools and all that thing, and they didn't have to pay for it. But you know what kids need? They need an understanding father. They need father who is really involved what's going on with them with emotionally at that age as they're growing up. They need both the parents, and I was absent. Not out of any mischievousness or any cunningness or doing it knowingly. This was just all subconsciously, unknowingly happening in my life. And I was even present. What's it costing it to my wife? It costed her a lot. And I don't know how she pulled it along with just not me being there emotionally present. And that limiting belief that I had is, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I will always be struggling. I will always have to work hard to provide to my family. And I did a great job at that. But because of those limiting beliefs, I succeed. And then, that feeling of I'm not good enough even gets higher. That's just unbelievable. I didn't even realize that. And that was really was happening. I went through severe depression, anxiety. I could not even work for 6 months at my own pharmacy. And I had to really get employees to run my store for 6 months, which I was running it myself. And my wife really, she really took charge of the situation, turned things around, and got me back healthy. The process that I went through with Dickens process, let me explain it to you what Dickens, and I would highly recommend anybody having limiting belief and all that thing, just look up Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within. So with the Dickens process, what you need to do is basically, just say whatever the limiting belief is. For me, is I'll always be poor. I will always have to work hard. Let's just take that one. There were several of them. So I would just say, oh, I'll always be poor. I'm not good looking at all. Then I would just exaggerate that. And then you know what? Next second, I will just change my state, physical, emotional, focus, and say, that's totally bullshit. That's not true. That's hocus pocus. That's not true. I'm being resourceful. I've done it enough and enough, and I've figured it out myself how to get out of this. And I've always created enough for myself and my family. And I used to repeat that. And then I would go back. I'm not enough. I'm always poor. That's not true. That's total bullshit. That's a bogus. That's a hocus pocus. And I would go on. And I would do that quite a few times for 21 days. And I broke that cycle. I broke that cycle in here. And you know what? Now I know it's a joke. It's really a joke. I haven't been working for 8 years now. And, I'm comfortable. And that limiting belief was gone. Now I feel I'm really connected with my kids. The outcome is I feel really connected with my kids. I feel at peace with myself. I really do. My wife can trust me that I'll be there emotionally present. She couldn't trust me for that. I may or may not be there. I may be moody or something like that. And it took a while, but you know what I mean? So, outcome has been just gorgeous. And you know what? I got rid of that depression, anxiety. I got rid of all those 5, 6 psych medicine that I used to take about 10 years ago. Gone. And I wanted to cover that, that problems do come and you have to be really behind it and said, you know what? It's a must that I need to take care of this. And, sometimes we are not even present with our limiting belief. And I was fortunate enough to go to this Tony Robbins seminar I was invited by a friend, family friend named Sanjay. And that's really been a blessing in my life. I wanted to leave you with this. Whatever your limiting belief is, write it down. Write it down. Work on it. Look at Dickens' process. And you know what? Destroy limiting belief because it's destroying you. And I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed and feel at peace with yourself like I'm feeling it. And today, my grandson, Rohan, is 6 months old. I'm going to visit him for Thanksgiving and looking forward to spending that time. But I want to wish you all destroy that limiting belief that's really gripping you off. And we all have it. And wishing you well with health, wealth, happiness, and with great joy. I want to say, I love you guys. God bless you.